Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live stream AMA. There's lots going on just in the world. There's a Ramadan going on, so I'm going to butcher it. Mubarak. And then, of course, there's Carnival happening for all of my Latinos out there. So there's so much fun, so many fun things. We had Valentine's Day. So I hope everyone's just having like a really fun week, a really good time. Yes, exactly. Bom Carnaval. Now I'm Portuguese, guys. So it's good to see everyone. So today we're going to do similar to what we've been doing a little bit more recently is play the game, have some fun. I do have a little bit of Quicksilver to give out this week. And yeah, we're going to have a good time. I did see a notification that we're not streaming on X, but I think we are. I think we're all good. So if you're watching from X, comment and tell me that it's working because it looks like it's working for me, but I just want to make sure. So ask your questions and it's just gonna be chill. Let's bring up Luke.
Hey everybody, how are we doing today?
Buddy.
It's an interesting time right now. I feel like crypto sentiment's bad, right? We keep talking about this, but I think we're pretty solidly in a bear market right now. And the question is, what do we do about that, right? We'll play the game and we'll kind of talk about like future Pixels. And honestly, what's nice about Pixels is you have a team that's still working here. You have a team that's still committed to seeing like a vision in crypto done, right? And I know the market doesn't look good. The sentiment is probably this might be the lowest all-time sentiment on crypto I have seen since I've been in it. And like we're getting to the
Bitcoin, and all of the comments are like, "Enjoy the red," like blah blah blah. It's like, calm down.
Yeah, the worst thing too right now is I think in the general crypto markets, we're not just seeing like negativity. Now we're actually moving more into like a stage of apathy where a lot of people don't even care about crypto anymore, which is a little unfortunate. But if Pixels wants to survive and we want to build something great, we have to build reasons for people to care, right? Like that's the big thing that we need to figure out. And yeah, what I can show you guys here is you still have a team that's like fully motivated and working towards this. And if you've been following these AMAs, you know what we're up to. What I'll say is like some of the stuff we've been building is taking a little bit longer to release than we had wanted to, but it's kind of around the corner now and it's starting to get into an exciting time for Pixels. So yeah, we keep delaying the release of a few internal things we've been working on slightly just because they're kind of ready now. But we want to make sure the user experience is really, really good before we launch it and show it to people. And because we're more in like a bear market, we want to time all of these announcements right so that we get as much attention as we possibly can when we start to announce these things, right? I don't know how you guys are feeling when it comes to crypto, when it comes to everything that we're doing here. I still have the firm belief that if you build something of value, crypto is actually a very interesting mechanism to help share the value you've created across an entire protocol and across all the people participating in it, right? And that's kind of the whole play to earn thesis, right? Like as you participate in Pixels, you're earning a stake in the network that we're creating, right? And this network, if you truly believe what we're doing, is starting to build something that might have real value to other people, right? We've made games that people have loved and played, right? Now we're trying to figure out those sustainable models, and we're trying to actually make that reflect and we're trying to make it reflect like actual usage. So somebody said share it or suck it out of our pockets.
This user has been commenting negatively, and it's only been a few minutes, so let's lighten up.
And they really want VIP. I'm not sure how well that's going to work for them. But
as always, and we were 1 minute late. Okay.
Yeah. So here, let me break down to you. Maybe Heidi, you can bring up some of the game stuff and start going through that while I do some boring stuff here. Let me give you guys a state of where Pixels is at right now when it comes to the economics, like what that actually means. So
I think I can. Is that better? Nice. All right. Earlier today, maybe if I zoom a bit, it's a bit better. Okay. Earlier today, I saw I had a good task to do. There we go. So I was just making some bronzonite bars because I have. Okay, last AMA, you were nonstop trading me. Yeah, see, I love you so much. I don't want that, but I appreciate you. Okay. Thank you. Anyways, let's go and pick up where I was crafting. I have like one session crafting, I think, on here. I think I only have one bench. Look at these fences also. Like, it's so cute. I haven't put the back on here yet, but like, how cute. I think you can
I wish there was a way that we could share 2 screens at once.
We probably can. Do you want me to try and figure it out?
Yeah, figure that out. What I'm going to do really quickly while you're playing is I'm going to share this chart really quickly just to bring it up. So here's nice. Somebody said they love the new update. I think the game loop makes much more sense now. Can't wait for new updates. So yeah, here's the state of the recent update when it comes to like business model for Pixels. So take a look at history of Pixels. This is, I think, the last 90 days of return on reward spend at Pixels, right? For a long time, Pixels has kind of been fluctuating around like 0.9, 0.8 return on reward spend. You see, there's always going to be dips in return on reward spend. And for those of you, I think everybody here in this AMA that's listening kind of knows what we're talking about. And
okay, I can't do it. Sorry.
okay, that's no problem. I think everybody here who follows these AMAs knows what return on reward spend is, right? It's this metric that we've been telling you guys about in these AMAs for like a year or two now, right? And the reason why this metric was so important is because the return on reward spend was the biggest single metric that we could track that would kind of tell you guys the success that we're making towards making play to earn sustainable, right? So if you go and look over the last 90 days, or even if you were to look historically, when Pixels first launched, if you go and look at our 2024 revenue and rewards numbers, we released all of those publicly. The return on reward spend when Pixels launched the first month was like 0.2, which basically means the first month that Pixels came out, I think we gave away like $7 million of rewards, and we did about like $2 to $3 million in revenue, something like that. I think about $7.5 million of rewards, about $2.5 million of revenue. That was a return on reward spend of like 0.25. Now, what is the problem with that? One, getting rewards, very fun, right? But the issue is basically that's not very sustainable for the token. And when we say sustainable, what does that mean? It means downward sell pressure from the token from rewards that we give out, right? So what are we exactly trying to do here at Pixels on the high level? Well, really what we want to do is we want to create an ecosystem that can grow. And, you know, we always have to be sensitive about how we talk about these things, but if we're being completely real, an ecosystem that can grow is able to grow further and better when we have a token price that is stronger, right? So how I like to view rewards is you can take a look at this. So basically we gave out like 1.87 million pixel in in-game rewards over the last 30 days. What is that? That's not the current prices. I'm curious. I haven't done the US dollar math in a minute, but I should because we're maybe going to do some new stuff soon. So we gave out about, is that, one second. Yeah, we only gave out about like $10,000 of rewards this last month, and we did, let's see, 5, 4, 2. We did about $30,000 in revenue. It's a lot smaller scale than what we did before. But now the really good thing is if you take a look at these metrics, the return on reward spend is positive, right? So what does that mean for us? Well, what that means is we actually have a sustainable model now inside of the game. And if you take a look at the historical trends, it's actually held up ever since the Animal Care update pretty consistently. If you look at the 30-day ROARs trend, we've had a ROARs of 300%, which basically means for every single dollar of in-game spend, that we have, there's $3 of spend, or for every dollar of in-game rewards that we give out, there's $3 of revenue coming back in. Now, this is actually extremely positive. Like, this is the most bullish thing that we've done in the history of Pixels over the last 4 years. What this means now is what we can start to do is we can start to actually, one, maybe switch the game into like, real money. So right now we give out Pixel inside of the game. And Heidi's not gonna like that I'm saying this. But one of the things that we could do, this is just hypothetical, is because of this, what we actually could do is we could switch the game into US dollars right now if we wanted to, and we could actually grow the game with US dollar revenue in mind. So one like hypothetical thing we could do right now with Roars Positive is we could actually give out like US dollars as a reward inside of the game. So what that means is like if I turn on a switch and we did all the rewards inside of Pixels as US dollars, all the spend inside of the game as US dollars, this model would work. The company wouldn't be like burning money, and we could actually start to grow the user base in like terms of US dollars. Now, what does this do, and like why would this be interesting? Well, one, if we switch the game into US dollars, immediately when we start to switch all the stuff inside of the Pixels ecosystem in the US dollars, we're starting to remove some of the biggest sell pressure inside of the ecosystem, which would be when people like earn the token and they sell it to get the rewards that they earn, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with you selling a token to get the rewards that you earn. We call this a play to earn game, and that was kind of the whole intention, right? Now, there's two intentions when we give rewards. Like one is like, yeah, we want people to have stake in that ownership in the network, but like also, we can't be stupid and just assume that when people earn rewards that they're gonna do exactly what we want, right? So now what we can do in this model is essentially we can turn it into US dollars and start removing any of the sell pressure from the game, right? So yeah, expect something like that in the medium term, where essentially what we would be doing is we'd be doing a big overhaul of the token, where essentially instead of having any emissions coming out, because the Roars is like as good as it is, what we could do is we could finally start to remove like any sell pressure coming from staking rewards, from in-game rewards, all of that. And what's also amazing too is if we have margin, we can start to do new user acquisition with the US dollar margin as well too. So yeah, essentially with the Roars of 3, what that means is for every single dollar of in-game reward that we give out, we're getting $3 back. We could do something like, $1 of that Roars that we get will go to staking rewards. $1 can go to user acquisition. Now, what we're seeing with Chubkins is our user acquisition costs can be anywhere for Chubkins between like $1 to $2. Sometimes up to like $3 to $4 per user when like really high quality users downloading a mobile app. But like the Roars is potentially at this pace right now sustainable enough where essentially we would be able to switch all the economy into US dollars and do new user acquisition. So how games typically work is, they actually do have to have a treadmill of new user acquisition. And Pixels has really not done any user acquisition besides organic user acquisition. Like Pixels has never run a paid ad. I think you could maybe talk about the TGE as like user acquisition because, we did an airdrop. You can consider airdrop as user acquisition spend. You can consider the Binance launch and all the marketing that we did with them as user acquisition, right? But like we haven't really had a UA channel in years. And we didn't want to do that until we had a sustainable model, right? Here, I'll also add Heidi's stuff back because you guys saw the numbers. We haven't really done that because we haven't had a sustainable model yet, but now we do. So now what you're going to start to see in the very near future for Pixels is we're going to start investing back in user acquisition. And there's a few different ways that we can do this. One is through paid channels. I am bullish on paid user acquisition channels when you have rewarded play. Rewarded play is basically all this play to earn stuff that we've been doing, right? And what we've seen with Chubkins is we've been doing A/B testing on our paid UA funnels. We've been testing when we mention rewards inside of our ads and when we don't mention rewards. And the really interesting thing about play to earn is when we actually start to mention rewards inside of a game, like regardless of what they are, it's actually really, really decreasing the customer acquisition cost that we have too. So yeah, the paid funnel actually looks very, very viable for Pixels now, and we'll start to kick that off pretty soon. It's funny because you guys in this AMA know this. What's interesting is the other people inside of Web3 don't know this. But essentially, what this means is we keep staking rewards and the APR, what it is right now. We'll start to have a draw in towards the token, right? Where if we can start to get net inflows into purchasing the token without having net outflows of people selling the token because we're giving out rewards, it leads to interesting potential economics for the token. Kind of boring, but basically, like, I'm super bullish on the ecosystem right now. And this is probably the most positive I've felt. If you were just to look at their numbers, just look at state of the game, just to look at like all the possibilities in front of us for actually creating something that is sustainable with the token and doing something that can actually, maybe get traction outside of just this like little crypto bubble of Web3 gaming that we have with broader people, right? So yeah, this kind of relates to something I tweeted recently. I just put up this tweet here. I'll share this really quickly.
I'm just freaking out over these fences that Silverwing have made. Look at that. Oh, never mind. Don't look at it.
So yeah, one of the things that's taking a lot of the steam away from like crypto hype right now is, AI, right? Like everybody's really, really focused on, the economic possibilities that you might have from AI, like, investing in the NVIDIA stock, investing into, like, all of these AI asset classes. Now, what's interesting is if you think about, where people should be allocating capital, it's kind of interesting because a lot of the general public is probably not going to see the upside of AI, right? But this is where crypto is actually very interesting. If there are sustainable crypto models, then there's actually interesting upside for community, for people who believe in different projects, if they are potentially allocating capital towards crypto. And I'm not saying this specifically towards Pixel. I'm saying there's probably a lot of untapped projects inside of crypto that are, interesting to look at right now, just because the market's bearish. Now, if I was to actually invest inside of crypto right now, what I would not be investing is just like any protocol that's been hyped. I probably wouldn't be putting my money into potential like base token or anything like that. But if there were protocols out there in crypto that were actually fundamentally solid, then there is something very, very interesting there, right? Like if I thought that there is this asset class that had potential, maybe it had yield, there was some reason to hold it, to buy it, and its metrics were improving, then yeah, there's something very, very bullish there. So these are things that we're trying to achieve inside the Pixel ecosystem right now. And I know it's not super sexy to come up here every single AMA and like give you some of this like backbone. And honestly, you guys as players who are just watching these AMAs, maybe you don't care about this so much, but I would hope you do, right? The great thing about Pixels right now is we've actually given out a lot of Pixel tokens to our users. If you go and look at the tokenomics, like most of the circulating supply has been given to users, right? And we've been giving, a lot of stake of the protocol and the ecosystem to our users too, just for playing the game. It's pretty crazy, right? Now, imagine a scenario where we switch the game fully into USDC, right? That's going to change things a little bit, right? Eventually, the only way they're going to be able to get Pixel is to be able to buy it on an exchange. You're not going to get it in some of the Pixel ecosystem games in the long run, right? Which is a change. But that's also kind of bullish, right? So yeah, that's kind of the general plan. I'm not sure if everybody fully understands what I'm saying there, but yeah, I just want to assure everybody the Pixels team is still here. We're still building. We actually have a lot of really positive stuff on the back end. And, you know, if we pull everything that we're trying to pull off, I'm very excited about the future. And we're going to keep doing our best work to do that. And, you know, we really appreciate everybody who shows up to these AMAs every single week and who, you know, are following the progress here, right? Building in public isn't always easy. We've been doing these AMAs for over 4 years now, which is absolutely crazy. But there's cool stuff coming in. So yeah, we talked about how do we grow Pixels next.
This little bug driving me mad. Okay. You guys need to just quickly look at these fences that Silverwing has made. I'm obsessed. And then there's another really funny thing she did. Okay, so there's a pink version of this one. And then she made Scarlet fencing. Like, are you joking? How cute is that? She said she's gonna make other ones too. Okay. Okay, wait, before you continue, I have another hilarious thing to share. So I retweeted this video because if you don't know, my nickname in game is Lemonhead. So I have a thing for lemon heads, and and it's just cursed and creepy, and I thought it was funny. Anyways, I retweeted it, and people started posting that I retweeted this in Discord. Okay, so then Silverwing went ahead and drew it like immediately, like so quickly. I retweeted this, and then a couple hours later, she had literally drawn this and submitted it as UGC in the game.
That's crazy.
Like, it's so good. So she just traded it to me, and I haven't looked at it yet. I was waiting for you guys. Oh, wait, you can't see it. Hold on. I'm so bad at this. It's enormous. Wait, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, there it is. This is just an example of why I love the Pixels community. Like, I just retweeted some cursed stupid meme video, and suddenly it's a UGC object in game. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean she drew that? Okay. Amazing, hilarious. I'm gonna go and collect some more of my Bronzonite bars for my task. Okay, I had bookmarked the lands. Oh my gosh, this is a really good land. I discovered it. I think it was in top lands. Or wait. Yeah, was it this one? Maybe it wasn't this one. Anyways, this is a good land too. It has a lot of stuff.
Okay, so somebody asked, what is new player retention? You need players to be sustainable. Roars is financially sustainable without a growing user base. Roars is not important. So there's two things here. Yes, so Roars was the most important thing to figure out first. Now the next stage, again, is new user acquisition. And again, there's going to be two channels that we focus on mostly. It'll be paid UA and will also be stacked, right? So if we actually want to go and get new users, there's a few things that we need to do, right? We need to start setting up these channels and making sure the new user acquisition is sustainable. So what does that mean? We actually need a certain user acquisition cost under a certain dollar for the user acquisition cost to be sustainable, right? Now the Roars metric is like actually not quite the best metric for determining like sustainable UA because really the calculation is more complicated. Like Roars is really more of a like very simplified version of like monthly spend and monthly like LTV, or not LTV, like monthly revenue for users. But really how you actually calculate, you know, customer acquisition in the long run is through like CAC to LTV, through the lifetime value of a user. So just the revenue a user does in a month is normally not nearly as much as obviously it will experience over the lifetime. Now, there's a few different ways that you can make the revenue of a user and your customer acquisition costs become more sustainable. And that's through focusing on player retention, right? Which Jason Fielding is like completely on the nose on. So one, if when you get a new user and you go out and acquire a user, even if you do it really cheaply, if you don't retain that user, it's not very helpful to the long run, right? And what you need to do is you also need to think about like, how you can actually keep users inside of the game and ecosystem. Now, it's funny because we actually focused on retention too hard in the beginning stages of Pixels before we figured out the model. Our day one retention a year or two ago, it was like anywhere from 30 to 40%, which benchmarked is kind of best in class. Now our day one retention is only sitting at like 20%. 21% is what I see right now in recent cohorts.
So ridiculously high.
Day one retention at 21% is not what I would call good, is what I'll say. Day 7 retention right now is also sitting at 4%. Day 30 retention is sitting at 2%. Our day 7 to day 30 retention is actually very good. Only having a 50% drop off from day 7 to day 30, solid. So once users start playing the game for 7 days, they start to understand and get it. But that first drop off from 21 to 4% is not great. And that first day one retention of 21% is actually what I would say bad. So yeah, that's going to be some of the next focus.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to play the game live. Okay. Reality is I'm not usually burning this much Quicksilver, but I want you guys to see me play the game. Come on. Okay. Sorry. Keep going, Luke.
So yeah, essentially there's a couple things here, right? Babu Nido also dives into saying that daily grinder retention is decreasing a little bit. I would say yes and no. One of the areas that we're probably dropping off on is, and again, this is a sensitive topic for players sometimes, right? But it's important to talk about it and understand our perspective. There were certain users inside of the game that were playing purely to extract as much pixel as possible. And again, I don't necessarily think that anyone doing that did anything wrong, right? And we're not mad at those users. That's how the game was set up, right? And that's kind of the situation that we created. So it's our fault in the very beginning. But yeah, now that Roars is tuned this way, what we're probably going to start to see is we're going to probably start to see more of a drop off of those users who never really liked the game. And their only goal is extracting as much pixel as possible. Now, a couple of things we can do. One is through our offer wall stacked. Let me see if I can actually bring up a new chart too. Through our offer wall stacked, what we can do is we can still give rewards to these players, but maybe we can start to cap them a little bit more than we had before, right? Now, it's interesting because it's not good for anybody inside the game or ecosystem when there's certain players that are just sucking up all of the rewards. When we first started doing an analysis on return on reward spend, what we saw is 1% of our users took 50% of the rewards away from everybody else, right? Which basically means a very, very small subset of our users were making it so that the average player had significantly less rewards inside of the game, which is not a fun experience for those users, right? So when we're able to target the rewards better through things like the offer wall, task board segmentation, and all of these things, it makes the game experience better for the average user, which is what we really cared about, right? And this is probably what we're going to start to focus even more on. And this is why we're building out stacked, right? So here, let me see if I can share some more charts. I don't know. Do you guys like charts? Do you guys want me to share these?
It's a good mix, share the game, share the chart.
Yeah. Can you guys read this?
No. Can you zoom?
It's hard. Here, let me just zoom in way more. So these are where all the pixel emissions are happening right now. Essentially, over the last 30 days, here are the game mechanics that emit pixels, right? Right now, it's task board, it's bounty fall, it's neon zone, it's in-game staking, and stacked offers, right? Also, some people selling guild shards, rewards people get from merchant ships. It's fun. There was somebody who claimed their airdrop pixel finally this last month too. I thought that was, when I was looking through the events, I thought that was kind of hilarious. Somebody finally just got around claiming their airdrop rewards.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's still
They
possible?
Yeah, they claimed 10,000 pixel. It was in their inbox and they finally claimed it. Same thing. Somebody finally claimed in the last 30 days their Spore Sports Season 1 rewards. But yeah, this is essentially where all the rewards are going, right?
Season 1.
Um,
Sorry, there's season 1 rewards. That's amazing.
yeah. So here, I'm not sure how interesting any of these charts are, but essentially one of the things we're going to start to do next is we're going to start to see how we can move more of the rewards from task board into stacked offers. So there's still a big gap that we need to fix here. Like there were 1.8 million pixel given through the task board in the last 30 days. And what we need to do is we need to start switching more and more of that pixel emitted into stacked offers. So a lot of the work that we're going to be doing over the next like month or so is basically analyzing how the task board works. We're going to try to keep feature parity with the task board because we don't want to change the in-game economy too much. What we want to do is we want to basically create kind of analogous offers inside of stacked towards the task board, where basically we can do things like, we know that typically if you're doing the task board every single day, you're going to be getting like 10 tasks, and on average you have to submit 100 Bohr branch logs. You have to submit Voidtonium, like all of this kind of stuff. Can create offers that have the same effect basically. And if we put them in stacked, here's why it's more interesting. Essentially, if these offers go into stacked, what we can do is we can better make sure that users, one, don't have to grind as much to get like the same type of rewards, and we can start to give better rewards to the people who are like the most engaged inside of the game and who are like the most helpful to the Pixels ecosystem as well, right? So it's kind of an easier way for us to like cap and manage earnings for different segments, to balance out earnings towards different types of users. And this is probably going to be the more sustainable way to do this. And then what we can also start to do is we'll probably have a like larger bucket of rewards that we can start to give towards new users too. Now, if you guys have been playing Pixels and you've been following us for a long time, one of the most important things is if you start to give rewards to new users, you have to be very, very careful about, who you're giving rewards to. Because if you just open up rewards to anybody at the front end of the funnel, because things like reputation and all of this, it'll probably go to bots, right? Now, this is where stacked and all that tech that we've been working on for the last couple of years comes into play. Like essentially stacked, what we can do is we can be much more careful and precise about how we give these earnings to different types of users than just than what Taskboard does. Basically, Taskboard, it's an interesting system. It's had its time. What we actually see like most people engaging with, honestly, are other mechanics inside the Pixels more. When we talk to users, like I think all of you kind of feel the same way. Like I think a lot of people do Taskboard out of like, they feel like they have to, right? Like honestly, that's not good for anybody in those situations. So that will be probably, when I think about the high level initiatives of core game right now, what are we focused on? One, getting almost all the earnings out of Taskboard and into stacked, right? Even switching Bounty Fall and Neon Zone rewards into stacked probably makes sense. Stacked will not ship with leaderboards, but eventually stacked will have native leaderboards inside of it. And you will probably start to see long run after stacked releases, all the leaderboards inside of Pixels also move into stacked. So you'll have the same leaderboard mechanics that you do inside of Bounty Fall and all these other areas, except the leaderboard will basically live inside of stacked instead of Pixels. The Bounty Fall, the Neon Zone, all the leaderboard rewards, the mechanics won't change at all. They'll just live inside of stacked instead. And then, yeah, essentially what we've done then is like we've quasi transitioned Pixels into a Web 2 game while still being Web 3 because stacked the Web 3 part. Now, why would we want to do that? For the user acquisition and the funnels. So it's very, very hard to advertise a game in paid channels when there's that crypto in the core loop of the game. What Stacked allows us to do is it allows us to advertise pixels like a Web2 game, have all of the Web3 mechanics in it, the earn mechanics, all of this too, but they live in a different app. So it allows us to actually go out and advertise pixels through paid channels to get new users, to remove a lot of the complexity of the crypto part towards a new user funnel. And yeah, it's kind of going to be the way that we move forward when we think about building inside of Web3. Also, what this allows us to do is like it allows us to really simplify how we actually build out pixels in the long run too. Like we won't have to think so much about the crypto side when we're building out game mechanics anymore. Like what we'll do is we'll have a Stacked team and like some cool tools that we're building there determine where the earnings should go. And it'll be so much easier to balance. And the game can basically like, the game can live and breathe a lot more easier. It can develop easier and anything that we're doing too. It also allows us to like basically work with other games much easier too. So the cool thing about Stacked is Stacked allows any game to become a Web3 game basically. Stacked, it's very, very close to releasing. You will probably see the first version of Stacked release to the public in the next couple of weeks. Essentially, we're just going through final UI UX passes, but it's all functional now. Everything is working as intended. The backend works, all of this. There's some quirks that we need to kind of figure out when it comes to actually getting out enough offers quick enough. But I think this is solved in the short run around like moving more of the earnings from Taskboard into Stacked, right? Because then we don't have to come up with these new offers. So yeah, if you look, we have been having a lot more Stacked offers come out.
I have it kind of like zoomed in.
Yeah, we have a lot of we have a lot more Stacked offers coming out, but still it's still not a whole, it's not a very large portion of the earnings inside of the game right now, right? Like a lot of the earnings are still coming through Taskboard and then obviously through Bounty Fall too. So the next probably 30-day goal in my mind is we want to start to lower pixel emitted in Taskboard and start to increase the share of pixel emitted in Stacked offers for that reason.
Yeah, I was showing we have Stacked offers in game, but I have it zoomed in. There you go.
How are the rewards of USDC going to be distributed? Is it a 1-to-1 ratio? Okay, so here's some really interesting stuff that happens when we start to switch to USDC. So basically what you're going to start to see when we switch to USDC is you can kind of view the USDC in the rewards pool as almost like a rewards treasury, right? And what's very, very interesting is as return on reward spend is positive, this reward treasury will grow, right? So, you know, right now we're getting out only a few million pixel a month in rewards, right? Like it was only about like 10,000 US dollars in rewards this last month, which is, you know, probably lower than we want it. But when we have return on reward spend, when we start to switch everything in the USDC, essentially what we'll do in the first stage is we'll just basically convert all the rewards and the dollar amount that you guys are getting right now in Pixel to the same dollar amount in USDC if we were to do that transition. And then you'll start to see also like doing the same thing with spend as well. Then what you'll start to see is you'll start to see one, the reward amount that you get inside of the game will not fluctuate based on pixel price anymore, which is kind of nice, right? Like there's some volatility with rewards right now, where when you get a reward, the token price goes up or down, the reward amount that you got changed up or down, right? That reward amount will become stable afterwards, which is a benefit, but that also means the reward pool will become stable too, because the amount of user acquisition power that we get every single month fluctuates too with how the Pixel token price is. And when the token price keeps going down, that means the amount of US dollar rewards that we're able to give out has been going down every month too, which is not good for the gamer ecosystem, right? So when we switch that to USDC, you'll actually start to see a reward pool form if return on reward spend is over 1, right? Which basically means the amount of user acquisition power, say that we give out $10,000 of rewards the first month, and the return on reward spend is 300%. We give out a certain amount to stakers. We give out a certain amount for user acquisition. That leftover amount will grow the rewards pool, right? And that rewards pool can keep growing month on month on month and keep getting bigger and bigger, right? Which is pretty exciting because then we have like a sustainable rewards pool that grows as well month on month and continuously. And this is a better model than some of the tournament models, right? So how you see some of these other Web3 games do it right now is there's a tournament model where the rewards pool grows and the entire pool is given out after the tournament is done. Like that's kind of what Cambria does, right? Now ours is continuous and growing. So the treasury is given out in tiny increments every single second, right? And it also grows every single second. And you can kind of view it like an endowment, almost a rewards endowment. And the whole point is to grow it to increase yield that's able to be given out all of this. A little nerdy and like a little technical. I'm not sure how much of you guys care about this stuff, but that's kind of the goal here.
This land is crazy. Did you see when I zoomed out? You guys don't want my Quicksilver? What are you doing? Look at this. Like, I don't even know how the limits work on this. Like, this is so packed with animals. Okay, so now you want it.
A USDC is higher in value than a pixel, one that result in more people cashing out to USDC. Here's one drastic potential that we can go down. We could allow only cash out in USDC. And what that would do is that would long run turn pixels into a stake only token. Now, I think there is something interesting about giving people stake inside of the ecosystem. I kind of like the idea of still giving like an extra boost if you wanted, Pixel or vPixel. Like maybe we give like a little extra boost if you wanted to cash out with Pixel, like a way, way bigger boost if you wanted your rewards in vPixel to stake them. But it would primarily switch the token being more stake only, stake or spend only, right? But truthfully, stake only is probably like the better long run way to think about things. And yeah, the vPixel option as a cash out is nice if we give you a boost because again, that's stake or spend only. But like if we give you USDC and you want a pixel, also you just go buy pixel, right? And then you can go and stake it and have the liquid pixel token itself too. We'll need reputation lower for new players to get access to the market. I think this is the part many new players leave because it starts to grind. I completely agree. And I would assume that's one of the biggest issues with the day 1 to day 7 retention, and probably even a big issue with day 1 retention. So again, the high level of pixels, a few different initiatives working at once. One is changing the economics towards, USDC in the long run. 2 is the new user flows. 3 is the new UA channels. So finishing out stacked and finishing out paid UA. And then 4 is there's still end game features that we want to build out to make pixels feel more complete, right? So we're going to be working on all of those things over the next, 2 to 3 months. If I was to rank priority, probably truthfully, one of the more urgent things I want to do, because return on reward spend is looking so good, is we probably do want to start to switch more rewards into USDC. And we don't have to do it all at once. Like one thing that we could do is we could just switch the stacked offers into USDC first. We could allow spend inside of USDC also. And it could be a gradual transition too. Like one of the things that we could do is we could preference payments inside of USDC, but still allow payments in Pixel. I know a lot of you have Pixel balances inside of the game. That would be very, very, very annoying to only allow payments with USDC at the beginning. We can do things like how we already do vPixel and Pixel spend, where if you have vPixel and you go to buy in-game coins that uses vPixel first, we would probably do another hierarchy where if you go to spend in game, first it checks if you have vPixel, second it checks if you have Pixel, third it checks if you have USDC. What would the purpose and incentive be of holding Pixel if its only purpose is to stake? Well, yeah, it would be the yield from staking, right? So staking with USDC yield would be the reason that somebody would want to go and buy it. So we do need to maintain enough margin to have staking rewards that are still competitive and make you want to hold Pixel, right? For that reason. There is something that might be missing from this model when it comes to like holding it to spend. But truthfully, what we've seen is like more people hold Pixel to sell than hold it to spend. And staking is probably going to be the better thing to do in the short to medium term. There's also other interesting things that we can think about long run if the yield of staking is not, a significant driver for people to hold, where we could do things like, soft staking, kind of like what we do with in-game, all of that.
There was an early question, and it reminded me of a conversation I had with a team member earlier, and I'm just going to leak it because why not? You're talking about abandoning unions, and did you abandon the union forces to their fate? I really love the drama of this. The war has been going on since February 5th, my friend. Isn't your development team going to intervene in this situation? Okay, so T, love the drama. I don't know if you intended on that or if it's translated, but either way, absolutely love it. Okay, we have noticed that this Bountiful season has been going on quite a while. And the team is also talking about other things in game, balancing of other things, and promised drops of other things, i.e., some animals. So I might have been told earlier that there's a potential for not this round, not this season, but the next season, they might give the top player an animal as a reward, which is huge and very exciting distribution method. I think they were discussing whether they wanted to give it to like top union, top player, or if they wanted to give out top player for every union. So like 3 animals or 1. And 3 animals means that we can't do this like as often. If we just do 1 animal for top union, that means we can do it like for the next several seasons. So there's your leak. I don't know if I'm supposed to be talking about this, but it got me very excited. And then someone just asked a question, and I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm gonna bring it up. Okay, cool. And yes, Silverwing new fences are fire. I'm so excited about them. Okay. Go on, Luke. You can keep going.
Yeah, I'm curious how you guys feel. Like, what if we changed all the payments into USDC in the long run?
Yes. Oh, that's what I wanted for this session. I was like, I need to get an offspring. This is going to be a meme again. I'm sorry, Luke. Go ahead. Keep talking. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, so one of the things that I'm considering right now is eventually changing all the payments in the USDC long run too. Now, I think this has to be a gradual transition because obviously we want you guys to use your Pixel. And like in the worst case scenario, like imagine we said you can't spend in Pixel anymore inside of the game. Only USDC payments now. It's still possible to spend your Pixel. You just have to withdraw it and then swap in USDC. Very bad user experience. But here's kind of what I'm thinking with transitions, where it's like, okay, if we start to switch the rewards in the USDC, gradually your balance of Pixel will start to decrease. We still let you spend the Pixel. But then as you're starting to build a balance of USDC, you can start to spend the USDC in the game as well too. As Pixel balances in games start to deplete, and USDC balances in games start to increase, then yeah, when you want to spend, you just use the USDC instead of your balance is kind of what we're thinking. You're removing the value of Pixel. No. So this is different, guys. What we're trying to do is we're trying to remove all of the sell pressure from Pixel, right? So again, this works if there's sufficient reason to stake Pixel. And perhaps what we could even do still is we could still give like a boost if you spend Pixel rather than spend USDC. Like perhaps if we gave you like 20% more buying power if you spent Pixel versus USDC. But the whole intention here is like, how do we make it so that Pixel is actually being used, not sold, essentially. And staking to me is probably the most interesting way to do that in the long run. So if you buy in-game rewards with USDC, where do you spend Pixel? So what you would do with the Pixel is the average, here's the difference, right? Basically, instead of focusing on players having to do stuff with Pixel, right? What we would probably start to do is we would start to focus on how do we get people who don't know anything about pixels and who don't really care about the game to want Pixel, right? Well, it's the same reason why, I have to be careful about how I say this. It's the same reason why if Roblox was a decentralized protocol, why it might be interesting to buy not Robux, but like a Roblox token, right? So it's similar to why somebody might want stake in an ecosystem that's growing, where the revenue in the ecosystem is growing. And what you see a lot of like investor behavior doing inside of other markets, right? It's not the same because Pixel is a decentralized protocol. But that's what I'm trying to get at, where Roblox isn't Web3, it's Web2. But some of the mechanics inside of Web2, when you want to, partake in the upside of an ecosystem, like what do you do? If you wanted to partake in Roblox's upside, you're not going to go buy Robux. You're going to go buy Roblox stock, right? It's different, right? And that's kind of the concept where I think a lot of tokens will end up going, right? Now, they have to be sufficiently decentralized. They have to be interesting, and they have to be, and when I say interesting, like why would somebody ever buy Roblox stock? Well, one, people buy Roblox stock because Roblox stock is like they're growing their revenue, they're growing their user base month on month, right? Like that's why people want to partake in the ecosystem, right? And Web3 ecosystems can look the same way, right? Again, they have to be sufficiently decentralized. There have to be reasons to use the token. The token has to do something besides yield, and it has to have a reason for existing, right? And what Pixels does in its ecosystem right now with our staking system it does do this quite elegantly, where there's a whole decentralized system right now to basically use the tokens that you're staking to vote on, how the Pixels ecosystem should be allocating reward spend and all of this stuff, right? Like that's the core of the Pixels protocol and ecosystem, right? And again, we have to be kind of careful about how we talk about this sometimes. You got to be precise, but that's the key concept here. Like, how can we have the Pixel token be like something that is decentralized, but still the reason why you would want to hold it is because of the fundamental metrics that the token has, not hype, not all of this other stuff. And how can we start to attract a new class of people who want to hold the token? Because sometimes it's the same type of a player, it's the same thing as a player, but sometimes it's not, right? Silverwing said NFTs at a minimum with marketplaces would be awesome. Oh yeah, so many Web2 games could easily turn on some kind of token and NFT use. We completely agree. And here's the biggest thing and why we're kind of moving in the stack direction. It's because reward to play works. Play to earn does work. Play to earn is so insanely effective for games when it comes to user acquisition and for like growing a game. Like Pixels proved it. If it's sustainable, the model is amazing. And we know that more Web2 games will want to do this too. There's already certain Web2 use cases of play to earn out there in the wild. And we can make a play to earn ecosystem where all of you guys who believe in play to earn and who want to be a part of that can own the Pixel token while still making the games work, essentially.
Oh my gosh, we have 1 minute left. Okay, someone just said something funny and it actually made me laugh. Let's see an AMA where Heidi talks about stats and Luke plays. Do you not like our personas? this won't ever happen. Cool.
Only people rewarded are content creators and co-developers of the most popular faucets. Players aren't rewarded. This is actually patently untrue. The majority of circulating supply has been given to players of the Pixel token, like actually a large majority, which is great. That's amazing. So yeah, what's a little unfortunate is the players have not necessarily held the token for so long. But that was kind of going to be the intention of the play to earn thesis that we had at the beginning, where it's like, okay, when you're playing to earn, you get stake of the ecosystem. Now what we found is like that's not actually the motivating driver for most people. When people play to earn, they want to cash out, which is so fine. It's understandable. But how do we make it so that people who want to have the token do this? Yeah, but now you're going Web 2. We're really not going Web 2. All of this is backed on chain. You have a chance to have stake in the Pixel ecosystem. The user acquisition methods that we're doing are Web 2. The player experience for some players is Web 2. But the core fundamental thing that we're doing here is driven with the token, right? Like we're contributors to the Pixel Foundation. We're contributors to the Pixel ecosystem. We have stake ourselves in the Pixel ecosystem, right? We want to see the Pixel ecosystem thrive. So yeah, user acquisition and player experience being more friendly to users who don't like crypto is very important. But we can still have the foundation be Web3 essentially.
Okay.
What happened to getting ad revenue? So Chubkins has an ad revenue funnel. Now this is part of the issue. You actually cannot run ads on Web3 games because basically nobody wants to place ads on Web3 games when they're like so forward with the crypto. And this is where Stacked comes into play. If we can transition more of the earnings in the crypto part into Stacked and have the game in core pixels not as in your face about the Web3, but still have the Web3 backend and foundation, then we can start to do traditional Web2 UA funnels, and we can start to do ads that also support the game and support the roars even more inside of the game too.
As I don't have anything else to give away. Especially Shiro. I love you, Shiro. Stop trying to trade me. I don't have anything.
What would it look like to get pixels onto a more traditionally Web2 platform like Steam? Yeah, so this is the strategy basically, and this is why we're so bullish on Stack. If we want to get on something like Steam, the Web3 can't be directly in the game. It has to be in that other platform, like Stacked, right? And this is kind of going to be the approach with all the games that we make moving forward, where we still have the Web3. But a normal player playing the game, if they never looked at Stack and they didn't care about the rewarded play, then they basically just play the game like normal, right? But if they do care about rewarded play, they're still earning rewards. The cool thing about Stacked also is we make you a Stacked account if you play any of our games without you knowing it first. So you'll still be able to get the rewards. You'll be able to get the balance up of all the rewards. But when you want to cash out, you got to go into the Stacked app.
I'm not making that. I'm too tired.
When pump. Look, we can't say anything about anything that we're doing there. Like I can't explicitly talk about price though. We're still trying to do everything the legit, responsible way. But again, what I'll say is I am bullish. This isn't investment advice. This isn't pertaining towards Pixel specifically. I'm very bullish on crypto projects and Web3 projects that are able to build a fundamentally sound revenue stream that can grow and can use paid UA or use any UA channel to grow too. So if I was to look at any Web3 ecosystem that I wanted to personally invest in, what I would be looking at is the revenue model sustainable? And is there some aspect of that revenue model that will benefit me if I partake in certain aspects of the token. Like, for example, if I participate in governance or if I stake and I, do actions that might help the Pixel network or, the ecosystem network, will I be rewarded? And then 3, are they actually growing user base as well too? Are they growing the revenue?
All right, do you want to end it off on? Yeah, that's the question I was going to bring up.
Luke, as a founder, what are you most excited for in the next year? So, yeah, I think the Pixels team has leveled up a lot with like internal AI tooling lately, where we're able to ship a lot more than we were before, and we're able to do a lot of the things that we wanted to before. So the next year is going to be really fun because people who want to build really hard things to build will be able to do it quicker, right? And I'm very excited to actually use the tools of AI to like bring the Pixels vision to fruition quicker. Because when I think about where the state of like everything else is going in the world right now, it's interesting because software is probably going to be very different in the next like 2 to 3 years. Like if you're just building a game, if you're just building, a SaaS product, I don't think that's a good business anymore. And it's not something I would invest my own time into building. But if you're building something that has a moat when it comes to data, when it comes to network effects, and when it comes to, other things, there's real potential there. And that's like truly what I believe with Stacked. Like if I didn't believe that with Stacked and all the other things that we've been working on behind the scenes at Pixels, then I would already be out. Like, the Pixels team is dedicating like a lot of time and energy into the ecosystem still. Everybody's working just as hard as they did when TGE happened. And it's because we truly believe that we have something that will work and that will have like a long-term moat as well. So yeah, I'm excited about the next year because we can start to build even faster and build even harder things. And there's a lot of opportunity right now. So if I was to look at other things happening in the world, like I am bullish on certain Web3 and crypto projects, but I'll be honest, there's not that many I'm bullish on. I think there will be gems inside of crypto and Web3 that will be overlooked in the short term. I think crypto and Web3 will offer really interesting ways to give people upside and stake into interesting projects if they're done right and if they have good founders behind them. And yeah, there's a lot there. Now, when it comes to actually the current state of like who's building a Web3, there's only a few projects I think out there that will be worth it. But I think the ones that do work are going to be very interesting. And I think we'll probably see a general trend of like some people going back to crypto with good fundamental projects behind them. But it's a hard thing to pull off. So there's just not that many projects out there that will.
All right. Shall we end it there? Is there anything else?
What I'll say is, yeah, I think in the next month, you're going to start to see some of these things ship inside of Pixels, which will be very fun and exciting. We've been working on this for so long. And I know it's been taking a little bit longer than we all want, but we're really close. And sometimes good things just take some time. There's been some new updates in Chubkins. Oh, my Chubkin died.
Terrible owner.
Yeah, if you guys haven't been paying attention, it looks better and better lately. Oh, maybe we can even show the should we show the new Chubkins?
Not yet.
You don't want to show them yet?
Not yet. But guys, we have been heavily redesigning, well, not heavily, but redesigning the little monsters, little Chubkins. So there's going to be a few newer ones coming out soon, and I'm so excited. And Luke's gonna leak it. Okay,
No,
just like
then
I'm leaking it.
like again, stacked is basically there, guys. This is what it currently looks like right now. The one thing that's holding it back is we're just doing final UX passes. So we want to make sure that it looks really nice. We want to make sure that the user experience is good. Like we've been honestly, maybe give some feedback on different UX directions that we could take this.
You know, what design like?
Yeah, these are mock-ups. This first one, like this is a mock-up. This is a mock-up. But this is what it actually looks like right now. Like we were to launch it today. This is pretty close to what it would look like. And yeah, it's all coming together. So, you know, we appreciate everybody who comes to these AMAs. Again, it's been 4 years of this, which is crazy. We've seen waves, right? We've gone through crazy hype with tons of people watching. We've gone through lows with like very few people caring, but we're going to show up every single week. And yeah, we appreciate everybody here.
Totally. And the people that show up now are like the best users, the best community members, like the people that we care the most about, really. So thank you all for coming out and dealing with my chaos while Luke shows us charts. Hope you guys enjoy our dynamic. This is the reality too. Like Luke and I on a call together, it's like the same chaos. So we're building in public here. We will see you guys next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.